Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Headlines, the show where we talk about matters pertaining to India's internal security and also matters of the global purview, which somehow affects India in some manner or another. And as always, joining me on the show is senior correspondent Vicky Nanjappa. Vicky, welcome to the show. So, Vicky, today a list of around 57 Kashmiri Pandits who are working in the valley has been released by a terror outfit, actually a vlog or a mouthpiece of a terror outfit, which is the Radical Front. And they said that they will be targeting these Kashmiri Pandits who are working in the valley. And actually, this kind of a story has created a lot of panic among those 6,000 Kashmiri Pandits who are working in the valley. So, first of all, how could this kind of a huge, if we say, a leak of sensitive information took place, because the names of these Kashmiri Pandits who are present in the valley are always kept very under a lot of wraps and the security because of the security reasons. So first of all, how this kind of a big leak comes in the question?
Yeah, Akash. First of all, it's the matter is being probed now. That is one thing. But if I look at cases which have happened in the recent past, like in the month of November, they put out a list of 76 pro-India journalists out there. One, okay, and 2 years before that, they did the same thing, in which they named many people who are pro-India in the administration. In that context, if you look at it, the thing is there is a lot of rot which is still there within the system. And if you see, very periodically the this one, what do you say, the administration of the Union Territory has been, weeding out, certain government officials, some police people. Like, I remember writing about one cop who, was actually repairing the gun for a terrorist, actually. So, these people who have kind of infiltrated into the system, or they have their cronies there working in the government setup. They are the ones who, I'm assuming they are the ones who leak out such information because they have access to such sensitive information, and that's why I feel it's coming out. The rot has to be completely weeded out because Jammu Kashmir has seen a very different kind of administration all these years. So, a lot of rot has managed to set into the system. And these are the people who put out such information.
Right, Vicky, and of course, when we talk about the incidents that took place, maybe around this year only, there were a lot of these firing incidents happening on a lot of Kashmiri Pandits who were in the valley, and there was a lot of panic, and in fact, there was a huge protest also after the brutal killing of a teacher there in the valley, and there is still a lot of threat and discomfort in terms of the Kashmiri Pandits coming back to the valley and settling down, though the government is trying their level best to rehabilitate all the Kashmiri Pandits who were back to the valley. But it is because of elements like these who do not want the Kashmiri Pandits back in the valley. So first of all, the question arises, what is their loss if the Kashmiri Pandits come back in the valley?
See, the thing is, if you see that the entire genocide which happened was done with the intention of driving out all the Kashmiri Pandits. I mean, that is exactly what the Kashmir Files showed actually in the movie. Now, the whole thing is, Pakistan would like to make it an Islamic state basically out there. So that is why, if you see the kind of targeting killings that they do, they're either targeting the Kashmiri Pandits or, the non-Muslim migrant workers. That's what they keep doing out there. So they want to kind of create a state out there, or currently a union territory, where it's only a Muslim population. They just want an extension of Pakistan out there. So, and actually another thing is that Jammu Kashmir originally belonged to the Kashmir Pandits only. So the thing is that whole fear of they put, and that genocide was such a sad incident which happened, and they want to put the fear back now with Article 370 gone. And there's been a very iron-fisted administration out there, and with the separatists, kind of vanishing altogether because the money flow has stopped and all that. And that is why all this frustration is happening because, at the end of it, what the government is trying to do is, put the Pandits where they originally belong. Actually, it is their land at the end of it. So that is not gelling too well with these Pakistan-backed terrorists, actually.
And Vicky, so if we talk about in terms of those 6,000 Kashmiri Pandits who are working in the valley right now, so what kind of protection should the government be providing to these people? Because we have seen that there was a demand of providing, and there is a small rehabilitation society in terms of when we say it is there in the Kashmir Valley, where there is a huge security being provided to the Kashmiri Pandits, a few number of Kashmiri Pandits who are living there. But many of them have actually decided to come back, come out of the valley and live somewhere else. So then how does it help the government in order to, convince these Kashmiri Pandits to go back and live in the valley?
It's going to take a little time. It's happening on a very slow pace because, ultimately what happens is these terrorists, when they target them, I mean, they're obviously, it is their life which is at stake. You should have seen that that government official, Rahul Bhatt, after he was shot, there's been a demand by the Kashmiri Pandits to take them out of Kashmir and put them in Jammu, actually. So that is one thing. But, it's like a catch 22 situation. Also, one thing is that I know, from their perspective, if you look at it from the Pandits, yes, they do fear for their lives. That is one thing. But also another thing is that, you don't want to be giving a messaging that, to these Pakistani terrorists that, they have chickened out and they have run. So that is where I think government should somewhere step in and do better on that front, I would say. Actually, that is the thing is in terms of security. That is one. But it will take some time. The thing is, separatism, I see it almost done and dusted out there now. That is one thing. Okay, that is one thing. Things will take time, but these are challenging times, I would say. It's just Article 370 gone. It's become a union territory. Now there's an election process which has to start out there. So a lot of things are going step by step, step by step. So I would guess currently enhance security and then, make sure that they're absolutely safe. That is one. And make sure that this kind of rot which is there within the system, which, gives out the leaks. I mean, at least as far as what I know, the investigation shows is the guy sitting in Turkey who was actually, he is part of a group called as Hezbollah one. Okay. And he was arrested in the 1990s, then released, and then he left the country. And now he's sitting in Turkey and he's got a contact in Srinagar through which he's getting his list. So that is what at least preliminary investigations have suggested.
Right, and Vicky, if we talk about we talked about the movie Kashmir File and the and the controversy that surrounds that movie after the IFI summit, and now we see that what the Israeli journalist said and the backlash he faced is absolutely genuine in terms of like the situation of Kashmiri Pandits who are living in Kashmir, and the in terms of what the government is trying to do, trying to rehabilitate all these Kashmiri Pandits back into the Kashmir, so that there is no the Pakistan cannot claim saying that, hey, it is only just an Islamic state and we being an absolute Islamic state. So by that, some convoluting idea, Kashmir is the part of Pakistan. So of course, this kind of a democratic fight and political fight is always there on the geopolitical level. But doesn't it once again back that the atrocities were right, and what first that Israeli filmmaker and now the other jurors of the IFI also are saying that what he said was right, because that is personal view and that is absolutely correct in terms of the movie. But the harsh reality on the ground remains the same, that the Kashmiri Pandits are always in threat when they are in Kashmir.
Correct. See, there is this particular ecosystem, which always believe that, there's a movie which was made so well, which shows about the genocide, such a sad thing. I mean, it is a reality what happened. They're in so many camps, they had to flee, leaving their lands, their homes, all that. It's not a nice feeling ever to leave your motherland and go. Like, sometimes you wonder in terms of the Sikhs who are there in Afghanistan, they're so targeted every now and then. but they don't leave, despite we having CA for them and things like that, because, it's the love of the land at the end of it. So these Kashmiri Pandits have to, and he can't just dismiss it as vulgar propaganda. I don't understand there is this particular ecosystem, when our army commanders are saying, if there is an order to take over POK, we will take over POK, because that genuinely belongs to India. Okay, that is one thing. It is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So we'll take over. And why does Richa Chadha have a problem? She says, Galwan says hi after that. See, there is this, this kind of thing, an ecosystem. And then it is very easy to come and, apologize and say, my Nana was in the army. I mean, no, that's not done at all. I mean, he agrees or not, it's one part of it, but, it just shows how this entire ecosystem wants to just dismiss the pain of what families have faced, because it is a good story. It has done well. And you should also look at it in that context, is that, there is this very left-leaning Janta which is there in Bollywood, and now a person like Vivek Agnihotri makes this one. They feel that somebody is going to take up their space. Otherwise, it is their own, and it's their own, version of history that everyone is supposed to believe in, all that. But take this movie Kantar also, for that matter.
Exactly, Vicky. And if we talk about, films that were talking about the Naxal problems, if we talk about The Bandit Queen or some other movies, and of course, Bandit Queen, which was made by Shekhar Kapoor, was an acclaimed movie. It showed the hardship of a woman who was, a misdoing was done against her and how she fought back against her. And nobody said that it was a vulgar movie. So why, when it comes to on the other side of the table, and all of a sudden everybody calls it a vulgar movie, that raises a lot of question in terms of like, where does the integrity stands? Which side of the table are you trying to please? Are you just trying to please your masters who are just putting money in your pocket, and you just dance like what they on the tunes of your masters, and then when somebody has the courage after more than 2 decades or 3 decades, in fact, to come out with a harsh reality of what the people has actually faced. And it is not like it's an immigration or a refugee situation. It is the people of this own country, of this own land, who are a part of the culture and the civilization there for years and years. They just brutally been snatched out of their civilization, out of their homeland, and then, just roaming around in the country just to find their own bearings. That raises a lot of questions, that where as a society, why are we not acknowledging that?
See, number one point, the thing is the very fact that Yasin Malik was allowed to roam around so freely for so many years. Okay, the man who definitely had a hand in the genocide, the man who was also this one, what is that, responsible for the killing of those IF officers there, which is also shown in the movie, by the way, one. Then there is the Kashmir floods. He expects the Indian army to go rescue him. Okay, and then he comes and shouts anti-India slogans. Okay, this is one. So when this director is basically, calling this vulgar propaganda, I very indirectly see it as, support to Yasin Malik. So what if you show? So what if you show it? Something is there; it had to be told. It is just that they can't, digest the fact that someone from a different ecosystem has come and made a movie, and it is made there. Because the problem for many years now with Bollywood has been, they have been, romanticizing the underworld. They'll be romanticizing. I mean, they would ideally want to show a movie on Kasab and, talk about his poor background. Like there have been the set of journalists. When Burhan Wani died, he was the son of a poor headmaster. So they want to romanticize all this nonsense. And that is why they get affected with this, and they lose their mind and they talk.
Correct. So coming back to the Kashmiri Pandits, Vicky, so like after the release of these 57 names by the resistance front, the TRF, and now there is a lot of panic amongst these 6,000 Kashmiri Pandits who are working in the valley. So what would be the government's next move in order to, provide them kind of a safe haven so that they can work in a peace of mind without looking over their shoulder every 2 minutes?
Yes, definitely security will be, enhanced. That is one thing. So further, and they are going to get to the bottom of it to see who has released the list. Number one point. Okay, that is one. And as we said at the beginning of the show, is that there's still a rot which is there within the system, which has to be identified. It's like 75 years of rot which has been there. The thing is, those people have infiltrated it. So to avoid such leaks from happening, the thing is, even in targeted killing, what happens is they're getting locations of these people. That is one thing. So There are people within the police force, there are teachers, there are government employees, all of them, who are actually, working for the other side also. And I think now they're going to identify more and more such people, and they've already done it, but they're going to go a little faster on that.
Right. Well, on that note, Vicky, thank you very much, and we hope that Kashmiri Pandits one day, as they were in the 1990s, before 1990s, a flourishing civilization, and culturally also they find their footings back in the valley. Well, on that note, thank you very much, Vicky, for joining me on Beyond the Headlines and sharing your time with us.
Thank you so much, Akash. Always a pleasure. Thank you.